Gresini Racing and Ducati had an agreement. Austin was the moment Ducati committed to giving answers about support, about structure, about what the relationship looks like going forward. Austin came. Austin went. Something changed after that, and I don't think Ducati saw it coming. How did a satellite team with no factory backing end up holding all the cards? And what does Ducati do now that the window is closing? This situation matters because of what Gresini represents inside the Ducati structure. This isn't a backmarker filling out the grid. Enea Bastianini finished third in the championship in their first Ducati season. Alex Marquez finished runner-up last year. They carried the Ducati name on 2 bikes while receiving a fraction of the support given to other teams in the same ecosystem. All of that was built on one assumption: that Ducati would eventually match the work with real commitment. Austin was supposed to confirm it, but when Ducati stayed silent, something shifted that I don't think anyone at Borgo Panigale was ready for. Let's have a look at what actually happened in the days that followed. Here's what we know for a fact. Nadia Padovani did not sit still. While Ducati held their position, no statement, no meeting, no commitment. Padovani opened talks across the grid. Not a quiet call, not one conversation. Multiple manufacturers. Honda, Aprilia. Real discussions with real timelines. The team that was supposed to be waiting patiently became the team generating its own options. I'd say that is one of the most significant shifts in the paddock this season. It happened because a window opened, and Padovani walked through it before Ducati even realised it was there. But the story doesn't end there. Honda has moved from rumour into something real. Sources close to the situation suggest talks between Gresini and Honda are ongoing and serious. Honda publicly denied negotiations, and that denial came fast. Too fast. In a paddock where manufacturers rarely confirm anything until the ink is dry, a quick denial tells you more than a confirmation would. Pit lane sources put it plainly. This is not a bluff. Both sides are talking seriously about what a full factory deal looks like. I don't think you say that unless the conversations have gone somewhere real. Can you ignore what that says about where the power in this relationship sits? We've seen leverage plays in MotoGP before. A team signals interest. A factory matches the offer. The satellite blinks. But I don't think that's what's happening here. This is what makes Gresini different from every other negotiation we've watched play out. The reason comes down to one comparison Padovani has put directly on the table. VR46. Let's not forget what VR46 receives inside the Ducati structure. Factory-level machinery. Financial backing. Infrastructure support. A relationship that functions less like a satellite deal and more like a second works team. Rossi built that on his own terms, and it now exists as the reference point every other team measures themselves against. Gresini's message is direct. Match that level of support, or we walk. Not a request, a condition. The results are there, the track record is there, but the commitment from Ducati has never matched what VR46 receives. I'd say that gap has been deliberate, and Ducati always believed they could hold it open without consequence. Then Ducati moved Fermin Aldeguer, a rider Gresini had developed, directly to VR46. No consultation, no replacement. We built that rider's career, one person close to the team said, and we got nothing back for it. That is what broke the trust. And it opened the door to everything that followed. And more importantly, what Honda represents here isn't sentiment. Let's not read this as Padovani looking backwards at her husband's history with the Japanese manufacturer. This is a cold read of what independence looks like in MotoGP. Factory bikes, full, financial backing, control over their own future. One senior figure described the offer as structured to give Gresini something they've never had. Full factory status from day one. I don't think Ducati expected them to get that far. Using Honda as a lever to force a decision they've been avoiding, that isn't desperation. That is clean strategy from a team everyone wrote off as having no options. On the other hand, Ducati isn't sitting passively while this plays out. Tech 3 has entered the conversation as a potential Gresini replacement. Not speculation. A contingency Ducati is already actively mapping. Internal circles have confirmed the conversations are happening. And if Ducati is already drawing up a grid without Gresini, that tells you everything about how seriously they are taking the Honda threat. I don't think a manufacturer does that unless they believe there is a genuine chance they need it. Tech 3 being named isn't a tactic. It's a signal Ducati has accepted the possibility of losing them. And what does it say about this relationship that they got there so quickly? And oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention, Gresini never owned Aldeguer. His contract was signed directly with Ducati from day one. Gresini ran him, developed him, built his results, and had zero say in what happened next. The results, the development track record, all handed to a rival team within the same structure. Gresini got none of the credit. Could you blame them for walking? There are two possible scenarios from here, and I think one is significantly more likely than the other. The first is that Ducati moves. They come back with a real offer, better bikes, financial backing, a structure that closes the gap between Gresini and VR46. Gresini stays. And Ducati absorbs the cost and the precedent it sets for every satellite deal they run. I don't think this happens without a serious internal fight, but the results justify it, and the pressure to close this before Honda is real. Every day without an offer, that Honda option becomes harder to walk away from. On the other hand, Honda advances before Ducati responds. Gresini leaves, Tech 3 comes in, and Ducati carries the story that one of their most productive satellite teams chose a manufacturer rebuilding from the bottom over the most dominant structure in MotoGP. I'd say that does real damage, not to their lap times, but to their ability to hold satellite teams when those teams start asking for more. At the end of the day, the most costly outcome in any negotiation isn't losing. It's losing because you waited too long to take it seriously. Ducati said Austin would bring answers. It brought silence instead. And that silence wasn't calm. It wasn't control. This is what Nadia Padovani understood before anyone else did. The team with no leverage built 3 options from nothing. Now Ducati has to answer all of them at once. Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to click on the video appearing on your screen right now